This is probably the strangest story you'll ever hear. It was Christmas Eve 1945 in Fayetteville, West Virginia. The Sodder family home was filled with comfort and laughter. George and Jenny Sodder, along with 9 of their children, were celebrating the holiday. The children were too excited playing with their new toys before heading to bed. The family had no idea that by morning their lives would never be the same again. Around 1 a.m., Jenny was woken by the telephone ringing. She groggily made her way downstairs unanswered. A woman's voice asked for someone who didn't live there. In the background, there was a laughter, clinking glasses, and the faint hum of a party. Jenny told the caller that she had the wrong number and hung up, assuming it was nothing. Then she shook her head, turned everything up, locking the door before heading to sleep. Not long after, a loud thud hit the roof, followed by a rolling sound. It startled her, but she was too tired to investigate, so she drifted back to sleep. But not long after, she would wake up again, but this time to the smell of the smoke. Jenny shot up and ran to wake George. Flames were spreading fast, crawling up the walls and devouring the staircase. The fire had blocked the access to the upper floor where 5 of their children, Louise, Martha, Louise, Jenny, and Betty, were sleeping. Panic set in. George and Jenny screamed for their children, but no voice responded. Desperate to save his children, George ran outside. He sprinted to grab his ladder, but it was nowhere to be found. He then ran to start his trucks, hoping to use them as a platform to reach the upper floor, but neither would start. Both had work found just the day before. Jenny tried to call for help, but the phone line was dead. She then sent one of her children to a neighbor's house to ask for help, but help wouldn't arrive for hours. The fire raged on for 45 minutes before the house collapsed into ashes. When the fire department showed up at 8 a.m., 7 hours, it was too late. The family had lost all hope. George searched through the ruins, hoping to find the remains of his children. But there were no bones, no bodies, nothing. Authorities claimed the fire was hot enough to burn them completely. But experts later dismissed this. Even in intense house fires, bones do not disintegrate completely. It did not make sense. The Sodders began questioning everything. Witnesses came forward with bizarre accounts. A woman claimed she saw the missing children peering from a passing car while the fire was still burning. A waitress in a nearby town swore she served them breakfast just the next morning. Another woman staying at a hotel miles away claimed that she saw the missing children with 2 men and 2 women speaking in a foreign language. More unsettling details emerged. A bus driver reported seeing balls of fire being thrown at the house. A man working on a telephone pole nearby claimed he saw someone tampering with Sodder phone line before the fire. And then there was the strange discovery in the yard. Jenny found a small dark object, a piece of something that looked like a grenade or a firebomb. So the question is, had someone thrown it onto the roof, or had the fire been set intentionally? Determined to find the truth, George had the site excavated in 1949, and among the ashes he found a vertebra. But when it was analyzed, it was revealed to belong to an adult, not a child. And even more disrupting, the bone had never been exposed to fire. Someone had planted it. The Sodders were convinced this wasn't an accident. Someone had taken their children. George and Jenny refused to give up. They put up billboards offering a reward, pleading for information. Leads trickled in over the years, but each one led to a dead end. One day, a man from St. Louis claimed that he overheard 2 men talking about a Christmas fire in West Virginia and how the children were taken. Another woman from Florida claimed that a relative of hers admitted to knowing where the children were, but no solid evidence ever surfaced. And then in 1968, the strangest clue of all arrived in the mail. A letter postmarked from Kentucky contained a photograph. It showed a young man with black hair and a serious expression. On the back of it, a chilling message was scrawled. Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie, LL Boys, A90132. or 3-5. The resemblance to their missing son, Louis, was undeniable. Desperate for answers, the Sodders hired a private investigator to track down the sender. But just as the search began, the investigator vanished. He was never heard from again. The FBI declined to get involved, stating there was no evidence of a crime. But George and Jenny knew better. They were sure their children were alive somewhere. Over the years, more theories emerged. Some claimed that the children had been kidnapped by an underground child trafficking ring. Others suspected the mafia, possibly as a revenge against George for his outspoken political views. But no matter how many leads they followed, the truth remained just out of reach. George Sodder died in 1969, never knowing what happened to his children. Jenny lived until 1989, wearing black as a symbol of mourning. She never stopped hoping that one day they would return. Today, the Sodder home is gone, the billboards are gone, and the parents are gone. But the mystery remains. If the children were perished in the fire, why were no remains ever found? And if they were kidnapped, why they never returned home? And the most haunting question of all, who sent the photograph? Even after decades, no one knows the answer. So if you have any idea what really happened, don't forget to tell it in the comments.